wrapped around your soul with no control. You can't breathe when you're drowning underwater. There's so much water. I'll run, I'll hide. Darkness always clouds my mind. When I look behind, it's moving closer every time. I can't pretend that I have a strong defense. There's darkness, my old friend. You get me till that's the end. That's the end.
Welcome to the Fray Flak Pack. It's Termex here, and welcome back to another Borderlands 3 build video. And I am very freaking excited to bring you guys my Pet Flaction version 2. If you guys don't know, I made Pet Flaction around, I want to say, pre-DLC 4 time. It might have been DLC 4. I make a lot of builds. Don't quote me when I made it. But it's probably one of my favorite Flak builds in the game because it was basically... It's basically a pet build that allows you to scale to any damage, and I'm talking true Guardian takedown damage, because the premise of this build is using the enemy's own damage against them for your own benefit, and that's basically what our Skag is going to be doing today. Now, for some reason, his name is not popping up for some odd reason, but his name is Shoot Me Please, because that's what I want to do. The main premise of this build is to get everyone looking at your Skag while you use basically whatever gun you want. This build is not restricted to 2 freaking guns. Yes, I am using meta weapons that are, of course, powerful, but this build has no gun restrictions. So before we get into the build video itself, as always, guys, thank you so much for the support recently. And if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up on it. Subscribe if you're new to the channel and you want to join the Flak Pack, and hit that bell so you don't miss out on any future of my Flak builds. I am a Flak-based YouTuber. I will always be doing Flak builds. But anyway, let's get right into our skill tree. So starting off into the master skill tree, of course, it wouldn't be a pet build without this. We have 5 points into ferocity, which is going to give our pet flat out more damage, and we do have 3 points from our Red Fang class mod, which boosts this up to 80%. 3 points in the persistence hunter. Doing so will give us 45% longer action skill duration and 12% additional gun damage. 3 points into he bites. Now, a lot of people are going to be very confused because everybody runs the same meta. Put 1 point into he bites, put 5 points into frenzy, and you're going to get your stacks, but that is not the purpose of this build. The purpose of this build is to put as much damage back to the attacker as possible, basically giving our pet a glorified Thorns effect. Now, we do have 2 additional bonus points from our class mod, giving this 5 out of 3, so we're actually getting 25% additional damage returned back to the attackers, which is freaking amazing. 1 point into Who Rescued Who. Basically, when you deal damage, your pet heals, and when your pet deals damage, you heal. And you really only need 1 point into this for it to be beneficial. When it comes to Mayhem 10, you and your pet are doing so much damage that extra points aren't really worth the sweat. 5 points into Frenzy because we are still running He Bites and Red Fang. So 10 stacks of Frenzy is not going to be any big deal whatsoever. So we're going to have that 40% damage all the time. And now people don't know, but Frenzy gives us damage, obviously, but it also gives our pet more pet damage, which is going to be up to 40% for him as well. 1 point into Psycho Head on a stick. So when we get a kill for 8 seconds, we get 26% bonus pet damage and 16% bonus pet movement speed. Kind of a no-brainer skill to put on. 5 points in the Barbaric Yop, and now doing this will improve all of our pet's perks by 200%. 1 point into Mutated Defenses, so when our pet gets low health, he will get health regeneration, and he will get damage reduction for a little while, and it's honestly really nice. It'll save him in those situations where maybe you're reloading in a heavily populated area. It just saves a lot of sweat, because with this build, if your pet goes down, you're kind of screwed. 3 points into Pack Tactics, so you and your pet both gain additional health and damage. 1 point into Shared Spirit. Doing this is basically making your pet take all the damage for you. 50% damage share when you're below half health. Honestly, an amazing thing for survivability. Over into our Hunter skill tree, we are putting 5 points into Interplanetary Stalker, because a lot of people don't know, even though this stacks up to 3 times, the damage itself also benefits our Skag, and the pet damage, of course, also benefits our Skag, which is honestly amazing. Plus, we have that action skill damage against humans, which will be helping with our Gamma Burst. 3 points in Leave No Trace, so we get that 36% chance to add ammo bag into our magazine when we hit a critical hit. Great for fully automatic weapons and or shotguns. 5 points in Hunter's Eye, so we get a bunch of different bonuses when fighting different types of enemies. Overall, just a must-have for flak builds. 2 out of 3 into Head Count, so we have that 20% chance to get our action skill back upon hitting a critical hit. Honestly, you don't need this necessarily, because our action skill comes back rather quickly, but it's honestly good to have that Gamma Burst up all the time. It gets you more survivability overall. 3 points in the big game, so our Hunter skill duration is boosted by 100%, and the effects of all of our hunt kill skills are boosted by 30%. 3 points into the most dangerous game, so when we kill a badass, we get bonus gun damage, critical hit damage, and pet damage for 120 seconds. 1 point into Galactic Shadow for the 15% additional raw crit damage. 5 points in the Grim Harvest, so we get action skill damage, pet damage, and gun damage. Now, this is a must-have perk. Yes, we're kind of wasting points because we're overcapping into this tree. If you don't know what overcapping is, it means you're putting more points than necessary to reach the capstone. I call it overcapping. It probably has some scientific name in the Reddit community. Fight me. But we're getting 50% additional action skill damage, which is going to come from our Gamma Burst, and the 35% pet damage is obviously going to come from our pet. It's going to come from Heat Bites. It's going to come from Atomic Aroma, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I think Atomic Aroma has different buffs that I'll get to later in the video, but this is overall great for the type of build we're going for. And then we have the green tree, the Stalker skill tree. It's a little empty, but we have Furious Attack with 5 points, and now a lot of people don't know this, but Furious Attack boosts your pet damage. It boosts your pet damage by 3% per stack, and with a Monarch or a Light Show or any weapon that has a fast fire rate, you're getting those 10 stacks super quickly, and that's 30% additional pet damage people are missing out on from not speccing into this perk. And now a lot of people are going to be like, well, all this pet damage doesn't matter because Flax pets don't do any damage. Yes, they do. Flax pets are not Iron Bear level damage, but Flax pets aren't completely useless. They're still viable when you build for them, and I think that's one of the main strong suits that Flak has. His new skill tree that's coming out soon, if you don't know, he got confirmed for a 4th skill tree. I made a whole video on it that you can click in the top right about now. I don't want to advertise that too long, but for anyone that's not caught up, Flax pets are going to be 10 times better with that skill tree. Check out this video after this. 2 out of 3 into Sikkim for our last points, and this is just so when we use our attack command, we could use it more frequently and it does more damage. Very beneficial for the Great Horn Skag and his charge, and the Spider Ant Scorcher for her lava pool, which is actually pretty cool. Over into the action skill you want to be using, obviously we're using Gamma Burst. We're using Atomic Aroma because this is going to be another part of our AoE damage. Honestly, probably one of my favorite skills in the game right now. And for anyone asking, Atomic Aroma is affected by splash damage, it is affected by AoE damage, and the radius is affected by AoE radius, of course. But Atomic Aroma within itself is treated like a Nova Blast. So think about, in your head, think about anything that helps with splash damage, and that's basically what Atomic Aroma will be benefited from. And for our other augment, we have Endurance, so when Flak or his pet kills an enemy while Gamma Burst is active, the action skill duration is boosted by 3 seconds per kill. It stacks up to 5 times. And on top of that, for every kill you get within Gamma Burst, your pet is getting 10% damage more from each kill. That stacks up to 50% more damage. I'm probably going to put on screen right now all the extra pet damage altogether that we are getting from our skill trees mathematically when we're in a fight. I don't know what the number is right now, but I guarantee you it's over 100% more pet damage, but it's probably on screen and it's probably really cool for you guys to see. Over into our Guardian rank, like I always say, I do not use Guardian rank in this game. I never really have. I never really enjoyed using the perks or the bonuses. So all gameplay you see on this channel in every single build that I will be posting has no guardian rank. No guardian rank perks, no benefits, no bonuses, none of that crap. Over into our Mayhem 10 modifiers, we are using Slayer just because it's neutral, Healy Avenger because it is also neutral, Chain Gang because it is neutral, but it's a little annoying, and Postmortem because it is very annoying. Now, over into the inventory itself, I do have all the max SDU upgrades for all you PC players downloading my save file. And thank you guys. I've looked at the numbers of save files that you guys downloaded. You guys downloaded an insane amount of save files. But that's in the description below for you guys to check out. You don't have to join my Discord to get the save files. But if you want to join the Discord, it is right there as well. But mainly this build, you use whatever you want. If you want to use old weapons, new weapons, it doesn't matter. Just use your favorite weapon that kills things and ignore everybody else. You're not going to be targeted too much, so you don't have to have the best gun in the game with the fastest time to kill. Just use what's fun. This game's about having fun. Use what's fun for you, but also kills things. I mean, I don't want you running up in there with a level 57 Maggie with no anointment, but me personally, with this build, I do have a Monarch with consecutive hits. Of course, Monarch, every build in the world has this right now. Awesome AR, awesome gun in general. I do have a Hellwalker with a Gamma Burst anointment, but I do also have one with a consecutive hits anointment if you prefer that. Me personally, I prefer the Gamma Burst radiation damage just because it's an instant thing, but a lot of people prefer consecutive hits, so if you want a consecutive hits one, it is in the save file as well. And we do have the Major Kong, one of the best rocket launchers in the game that got added with DLC 4. I have a ×2 prefix and a 300% 90 anointment. This is going to be for your boss killing, your mob clearing, your second wins, because you do not have Lick the Wounds in this build, which is kind of unfortunate. My favorite perk in the game we don't have, but hey, it's fine. And we do have the Execute. This is going to be an important part of the build. Not for damage, not for anointment. Screw the anointment. Ignore all that. This is just to stack damage on an enemy so your pet does more damage. Every throw you put on an enemy with this, when you fully empty the mag, it's 50% more damage for a set amount of time. And if you can get in 2 or 3 reloads, your pet's going to be dealing 150% more damage, and you're going to have to do less work. As you saw in the intro, Gigamind, I didn't even shoot him, and my pet killed him by himself. And as for your shields, we do have old gods in every single element with their corresponding ASEs. I want to say thank you to people in my Discord. They did provide me with the corrosive one and the radiation one. So thank you to you guys in the Discord that helped me get those, but the rest have been farmed. That's kind of why this build has been a little bit delayed. But you have all these old gods. I just think right now with Flak, these are great shields, especially with Red Fang, because Red Fang is going to be making it so we're not as squishy anymore, because all the attention is going to be on our Skag, so that 20% extra damage is going to be helping out quite a bit. Over into your grenades, it's all personal preference. I have a few Hunter Seekers. I have a variation of grenades here. It's Pisses, but they all have different ASE elements, so you don't accidentally stack with your old god for maximum damage. And for your relic, we do have an Atom Bomb Auto Idol. This is basically going to increase our radiation aura damage and burst damage. If you don't know what burst damage is, when you kill an enemy with radiation, you know that badass sound effect you hear that goes yeah, that one. That's basically what radiation aura damage is, and that's going to improve that damage and the radius of it. And of course, since it is a auto idol, we are getting the 23% maximum health after every kill, which is pretty cool. Now, as for the rolls, I have radiation damage, area of effect damage, and magazine size. I wish magazine size was like max health or something, because my Execute, I want to reload as quick as possible, and it has a bigger clip with this, but it's not that big of a deal. I still love this relic, and it does what I need it to do, but I wish it had a different roll than magazine size for my Execute. And for our class mod, we do have a Red Fang with probably my favorite rolls. I had another one that had 2 points into Ferocity and 1 point into Eager to Impress, but instead of assault rifle damage, it rolled with Jacob's crit, which I guess you can put in for the Hellwalker, but I haven't seen myself using any Jacob's weapons, to be completely honest with you. And plus, I guess the assault rifle does benefit the Monarch, but that's really the only assault rifle that I have in here. We do have a King's Call in here. We have a Robin's Call. This is my favorite shotgun, to be completely honest with you. This gun is a monster, never runs out of ammo, but it's a little bit on the weaker side right now with the new level 65. We also have a ×3 Gargoyle with a action skill and splash damage roll. Honestly, when you're going against anything that's armored, pull this thing out and it will kill it, trust me. And we do have the Beacon. The Beacon is honestly one of my favorite pistols in the game right now. This thing will completely destroy everything. We're already building around ASE and splash damage, and putting this baby on just makes mobbing a breeze. We have some Sandhawks. We do have a Lucian's Call. It doesn't really work that great, but it works. And that is about it for the extra weapons. We do have the Anarchy, which is probably going to be replaced. I would recommend either the Anarchy or the Hellwalker in one of your 4 slots, because those are basically my favorite shotguns in the game. And the Anarchy now, you can reload it at max stacks and not lose your stacks. The only way you lose stacks with the Anarchy now is if you go down or reload your game. So it's honestly a great shotgun for basically anything. But let's get into a little bit of gameplay, because I know everybody wants to see that. So let's go over here. I'm going to do a little fake burst to get my ASEs for a little bit. Activate that Gamma Burst, and we're going to go into the fight. This Goliath just evolved, but that's cool. But the main focus here, as you could see, our pet here is dealing all this damage to these enemies. He just killed him. We have this badass right here. Let's attack command and see what he can do. And look at that, look at that. He's doing all of this, and I'm just sitting here chilling. And this is what I don't understand. People are crying about Flak. Yes, Flak may not be the strongest Vault Hunter right now, but he can have viable pet options. Like, he's not completely crippled when it comes to having a pet. Does it take a little work to get the build going? Of course it does. That's how builds work. Builds are meant to build around a specific interaction and make it the best possible way it can. Now, a lot of people are going to say, why didn't I go for the eyes and a 300% anoint? And, you know, it's a little too much extra steps for me, and it's not as reliable as this kind of build is. And honestly, this is my favorite Flak build in the game. If you look on my channel, every build that I'm going to be updating, this is my favorite build. I just have so much fun messing around with this. I just feel relaxed. I feel like this is how Flak should be played, because I'm not worrying about which guns I have. I'm not worrying about, hey, am I getting this right anoint? I'm just having fun with the guns I like to use. But I do imagine it goes without saying that every build has its downsides, and to be completely honest with you, the downside of this build is people like Grave Ward. People like Grave Ward, to where your enemies are so far out that the pet basically has no impact on the game whatsoever. That's the only weakness I see this build having, and it's not really that big of a deal, but at the same time, the strengths of this build outweigh the weaknesses, in my opinion, because when it comes to mobbing areas, you're going to have maximum survivability, you're going to have maximum damage, and these guys aren't even looking at me, which is kind of crazy. And when you're using the Anarchy, I meant to point out, be careful, because you have all these action skill and splash damage bonuses, so when you reload the Anarchy, you might put yourself down a few times and lose all your stacks, which will definitely piss you off, trust me. Just like that. God. But yeah, it definitely makes you aggravated with the Anarchy. Maybe run a Transformer with the Shock one. But then again, I've been making that a build idea for a little bit now. But we'll talk about that in the future, I guess. Now, one amazing thing that I like about this build is you can kind of use splash damage weapons as your main source of damage. Because, like I said before, you're specking around splash and you're primarily doing splash AoE damage. This build is kind of AoE centered, so go right ahead. Anything AoE, especially this dang pistol, man. This pistol is a blessing. My favorite gun in the game, easily, when it comes to pistols. It's just so fun to use and enjoyable. Alright, let's get this badass down from here. I should be switching to a fire damage element for him, but I don't want to do that right away. We still have our Gamma Burst active, which is nice. I'm gonna attack command on, and as you can see, everything here is nice. I want to show off the Major Kong a little bit, so let's see what we can do with him. Get it to full charge, and let's see what we can do. Boom. There we go. That thing does so much, 17 million damage. This thing is honestly a monster. Boom. Oh, and all the other projectiles are going to go out and kill things. Those things are amazingly fun. Use our Gamma Burst, pull out the Monarch. This is the boring gun mode if you just want things to die, and yeah, the Monarch's always going to be a good gun. I don't know why people think it fell off. Just, something won't die, pull out the Monarch, and it will die eventually. We're going to attack command over here, see what our pet can do. Boom. Look at that. Look at the damage. I'm not even going to shoot these 2 guys right here. Let's see what our pet can do, because, you know, pets cannot do damage in this game. But anyway, guys, that is Pet Flaction version 2. I do not want to show off too much because I want you to enjoy it yourselves. As always, the PC save file is in the link in the description below, along with my Discord. And if you're at it, you want to become a channel member, you can see the little perks. Click the little join button on my YouTube channel. Hope you enjoyed the video. And please don't shoot me. I know his name will pop up. We'll see you guys later.